So this question tells us that Tom moving from point X, okay, in the clockwise direction, so around this circular track, while John in the anti-clockwise direction. So Tom's speed is given as 160 meters per minute. John's speed 200 meters per minute. Okay, so they're going to run towards this first meeting point. Okay, note that the highlighted portion here is half of the track. Alright, so you can picture it in another scenario, like they are moving along a straight line but at opposite direction. So Tom would move at 160 meters per minute. John, the other end, 200 meters per minute. So the distance covered will be 200 meters because it's half of the circular track. Alright, so in this situation, we just need to find out the sum of speed. Okay, since every minute Tom would cover 160 meters out of this 200 meters track, and John would cover 200 meters per minute. Alright, so it would take them less than a minute to actually meet. Okay, so consider the second meet now. Okay, since the question says second time on the track, so during the second meet, from the first meet, alright, to the second meet, so since John will travel further, so we can probably assume that John would continue running from here to, let's say, this point. So let's set this as the second meeting point, right? And Tom would continue running in the clockwise direction towards this second meeting point. Now from the first meet to the second meet, if they were to travel in opposite directions to the second meeting point, okay, this would take them a total distance of 400, which is the entire track. Okay, so from the first meeting point to the second meeting point, they will cover exactly one round. Okay, so by the time they pass each other the second time, so including the first time when they meet, this would cover a total of 200 plus 400 meters, so which is 600. Okay, or you can simply just take 1.5 round of a track. Okay, so 600 meters. Same scenario, Tom moving at 100 meters, 160 meters per minute. John 200. Alright, so we can simply take the distance traveled per minute, okay, which is the sum of their speed. So because every minute they're going to cover 160 here for Tom, John 200. So they would add up the speed to find out that every minute they would have covered a total of 160 plus 200, total of 360 meters. Okay, since the 1.5 round for them to go on to the second meet, okay, from point X to Y to this second meeting point would take a total distance of 600. So the time taken would just be the distance, okay, the total distance they need to cover by the two of them, 600 meters, divided by the sum of speed. Right, this will give you 1 2/3 minute. Okay, so this is the point where the total distance is 600 meters. So from point X and Y, Tom at point X, John at point Y, towards their second meeting point. Alright, so this is where they're going to meet at the second meeting point. Okay, second meet. Okay, so the question requires us to find the distance. How far would Tom have run? So the distance would just simply be speed times time. Okay, for Tom only, so Tom's speed would be 160 meters per minute. So you times the time required, and leaving your answer in mixed number in the simplest form, that would give you 266 and 2/3 meters. Right, So the other way to check is to use the ratio of the speed. Okay, so to cover this 600 meters, if they are traveling at constant speed, the ratio of the distance covered must be the same ratio as the speed. So 160 to 200. Okay, so you can do a simple check here. Speed Tom to John, 160 to 200. Simply 4:5 in the lowest term. Alright, so this distance would split up into 4 and 5. So total 9 units. Okay, so 4 portions, 5 portion, total 9 portion. So Tom would have run this distance. We can say it is 4 out of 9. Okay, so notice carefully that the total here, the 9 units here, would be the total distance they have to travel for the 1.5 round, which is 600 meters. Right, so we just need to find Tom. Okay, so the distance required, okay, so the same ratio as the distance. So 4 units. Okay, do a check. 600 divided by 9 times 4 would also give you 266 and 2/3.